I want to welcome everybody to the On the Mat podcast. I'm your host, Coach Paul, also known as Paul Robertson. Call me Coach Paul. The guy that we got with us today is our new co-host to the show. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Face reveal. So
Yeah,
you guys will
Twitter
now know
face
who it
reveal.
is.
What's up, guys? My name is Jay. On Twitter, I'm LA Section Junkie, also known as Socrates. Not my real name. I wasn't trying to catfish nobody. I just put it. But my name is Jay. You guys can call me Jay. Excited to be here. Yeah, I feel like this will be a very good outlet for both of us because we both seem very passionate about high school football. CIF in general, and yeah,
Yeah.
excited.
All right. So I normally don't do this, Jay, but what's your background in the LA City section? Just to give some of our viewers and our listeners where my new brother comes from.
Yes. So I'm obviously a little bit on the younger side. I was actually a soccer player for a long time. I still am, to be honest, because I have the athleticism and body for a soccer player.
Okay.
Um, went to high school at Taft. I had actually quit around ninth grade, so I actually never played at Taft on their soccer team. I
Okay.
was I decided to join their football team, but I'm only 5'9", in ninth grade. I was like 5'7",
That's all
130,
right. That's all right.
140. So basically just got recruited to go play kicker, punter, and then even though I was still the kicker and the punter, I just fell in love with football. And I could really, thank my teammates, the seniors, when I was a sophomore, because I didn't play my freshman year. I
Yeah.
could really thank them because they made me fall in love, and they made me feel like I'm another player, not just a kicker or punter. So every time I go to a game, I always pay extra attention to the specialists,
Hell
the
yeah.
punt team, the kickoff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Taft, soccer player, loves football. Yeah.
That's right. We got our very own Pat McAfee over here, dog.
Yes, sir.
you're you're
Exactly.
you're you're our Pat McAfee on this show.
Yeah.
That's what's
And
up.
I was actually a way better punter than I was a kicker. So
Oh
yeah.
damn, hell yeah, that's dope, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I never wanted that pressure. Like you could make I played quarterback, I played all sorts of positions. I did not want to be the kicker at all.
Honestly, the years I was there wasn't too much pressure because we were either getting blown out or blowing the other team out.
Fuck
Yeah,
it.
like we
All
were
right.
terrible. My sophomore year, COVID happened. There was
Ah,
nobody in the stands,
yeah.
and then my last year, we actually won the Division 3, but it was a landslide every game except the final. We
Okay.
had beat Panorama like last play of the game, went for two. They made it, or we made it, and yeah, we won.
That's right.
Yeah,
Now, talking about championships, right?
it's a good segue.
We just concluded all state finals were completed this weekend. Um, and I actually got to watch two of them. So I'm a did you get to catch any of them?
I caught the Mater Dei De La Salle game.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's the game like everybody tuned into, right?
yeah.
Like I was able to catch Grant and Pacifica.
Hmm.
Um dude, like Grant beats Pacifica 35-28, but let me tell you, these kids are some dogs. Like
Yeah.
the Pacifica team is the team that beat Narbonne, that was a team that was whooping everybody's behind, like
Mhm.
by a large amount. Came into the playoffs after not playing for 2 months and still was whooping everybody's behind.
Yeah.
Like, and this Pacifica team lost to a very good Grant team, so shout out to them, man. That was a great game to watch. Um, we had St. Vincent de Paul. They beat Highland 25-23.
Mhm.
Balboa beats Pioneer. Shout out to Pioneer High School for I'm a Whittier boy, so
There you
any
go.
school any school out there that's repping the city, I got a shout out. So shout out to
Let's
them, even
go.
though they
Shout
lost.
out.
We got American Canyon. They beat Palmdale 68-47. Palos Verdes beats 12 Bridge 55-9. Well, they beat the brakes off of 12 Bridge. Sorry, 12 Bridge. Sonora beat St. Pius 52-34. And then the game I really caught, like, and was an eye opener, man. And it made me like really fall in love with the game again. Like we all know, I have a bad taste in my mouth. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So without going into too many details.
We'll get to it. Just
Yeah,
slightly.
yeah, slightly, right?
Yeah,
So, this made me fall in love with the game all over again. Watching Edison versus Central, man, they had two kids that were just highlight reels for me. Brandon Smith from Central was a standout for Central. He was their standout player. But my
yep,
hat goes off to Jake Minners, man. They threw this kid a dig with like a minute left. Like they're Edison's driving. It's a
yeah.
defensive game, bro. The quarterback hits Minners on a dig, and this kid just breaks to the side and then cuts up. Like he wasn't going to be not denied a touchdown. Like he's a senior, and he made sure he won the state championship. Like, good job, dog. Like
Kudos to him. Great
yeah, for
program.
reals.
Great program.
That was a great game to watch, and I'm glad Edison's back on top, man. Then we get to like these, like everybody. I'm not a real Hondo Prep hater. Like I'm
Mhm.
not. Dude, they lost by
That
one.
that's the
42
team
to
that ran the
41.
ball, right? And just ran
Yeah,
everybody over. They beat
and that's the
Warren.
team. Yeah, that's the team that everybody on Twitter and well, I'm only on Twitter. That's the team that everybody on Twitter is like talking crap about right now. Like, oh, everybody's on Rio Hondo's jock strap. Well, yeah, they're freaking good.
They're great, and they
They're
only have
good,
like 75 kids. I
yeah,
think 75 boys at the school,
bruh.
something
And
like that. Yeah,
they did to lose by one on a great season. And I'm from the looks of it, if it's 42-41, somebody went for two, or it just worked out that
yeah.
way. It's just
Rio
my
Honda
assumption,
went
right?
for two at the end. They got denied, and that's how they lost. So
Ah,
nothing to
there
be
you have
ashamed
it.
about. Yeah,
And then the granddaddy of them all, bro. The
the
game
game
that we
everybody
watched
wants
too.
to
The one
watch.
that everybody watched. The Modern Day beats De La Salle 37-15. I'm glad I got to see Maurice Jones-Drew back on the sideline.
That's how.
Um, a kid was I don't know if that was his son wearing the same jersey. Like it said Jones-Drew on it. Like I had the volume off because we were getting ready to go to a family party.
Mhm.
But bro, Modern Day did what Modern Day does.
Yeah,
And what they did all year is just annihilate. And I'm not even going to say this weaker opponent because De La Salle is a great team, but
for sure.
Modern Day just showed out.
Modern day, they're the best team in the country. I had tweeted the difference, in my opinion, the difference between them and everybody else are the trenches, their O line and their D line.
Bro,
Um, Speechless. Like I'm speechless. Their defensive line that has to be probably. Granted, I haven't been watching high school football for like years, but
right?
definitely in my time playing and watching like high school football was the best by far. I mean,
Yeah,
every single player, a high power four program type player, on that D line.
I definitely agree. I definitely
Yeah,
agree. And at this level, that's what separates the great teams from the good teams is
exactly.
their line play. If you
hmm
have solid offensive and defensive line play at this level, your program is going to be unstoppable.
Exactly. It's like in basketball. Um, a lot of people say the difference between D1 and D2 are the centers, the big guys.
Oh yeah, I agree.
At D2, the guards are just as good as D1 guards,
Mm-hmm.
but their centers are like 6'8", 6'9". And then you
Yeah,
get a D1, 7 foot, 6'11", 7'1".
yeah. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it. Hey, and to be honest with you, even at the D3 level, like I went to a D3 out of high school and
Okay.
looking at like D3 programs, like you have 7-footers in D3. I don't know why they're there. I don't know how they got there. Like that so it's just like I guess it's the level of basketball, like level of competition and the way you're developed and coached
Yeah.
because you can't tell me somebody, or maybe you're a bounce back. Like there's so many things, but if you're a college freshman and you're 7 feet and you're at a D3, I'm going to ask you what happened. Like I
Yeah.
have to
Has to be character issues or something.
something, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, if you have a great line at this level, you're going to win consistently.
Facts. Exactly. Couldn't
I
agree more.
think modern day I think that whole Trinity League, sorry for that. The whole Trinity League, I honestly think they should just become like a national team. Like that, it should be like a national conference. Like take IMG Academy, take the Hoovers of the world, like put all these parental powerhouses, and let's have a national level. Like, I know it may cost some money, but you can sell TV rights to it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And most of these schools are private schools, so they have funding. They
Yeah,
can
they
make it
have the
happen.
money for that.
Yeah.
IMG has the money for it. Yeah, they'll be fine. That's a good idea. I would love to watch it.
Yeah.
So no
Even if you did,
complaints.
right? Even if you, let's say we just did 3 states, 4 states. Let's go for it. We go California, Hawaii,
Mhm.
you
Okay.
go Nevada and Arizona. And if you want to add a 5th state, you do Texas.
I was gonna say you gotta add Texas. Yeah.
Those five states alone, with you can create a freaking dominant league. I know there's two, at least you can fill 10, you can fill 10 spots easy.
Yeah. They should
And
do
you can
like a
sell,
national championship.
ooh, that would be fire.
I feel like the logistics, since these are still high school kids, I feel like it'll have to shake everything up from every
You would have to
state.
take, yeah, you know what you should do? Like, I think, because everybody has a state title, right?
Yeah.
I think you would now have to rank, you would have to rank states. You would have Power Five rankings for high school.
Say, I'm not against it. I'm not against
I'm
it.
not mad at it either. I think it
Yeah.
would. Some people say we're at a disadvantage. You see all the tweets. Oh, modern day this, Bosco this, blah blah blah. Like even
Yeah.
with Norbon, man, like it's been
Yeah.
going on
Well,
for years, guys. We'll get.
yeah.
Let's. I know you got some news about these head coaching jobs that are open, man. I saw before you get into the list, how you win a fucking championship, and now you're no longer the head coach.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that. Before I get into it, I should also mention that I'm strictly a LA City guy for football. Obviously, I watch Southern Section a little bit, but I
Right.
would be doing it as a service if I try to be like analytical about it because I just don't know a whole lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm the city guy. So yeah, so the openings right now we have Banning High School, Chatsworth High School, Maywood, Marshall, El Camino, and Narbonne. And then Garfield and Southeast have just hired new coaches. So Garfield hired Patrick Vargas, who was their longtime OC under Coach Hernandez, who resigned. And we have James Lewis for Southeast.
Okay.
So I know James Lewis, he was the city player of the year in '03.
Oh, watch out.
I know he was coaching different states. Truthfully, I don't know a whole lot about him, but I mean, he has like 30K on Twitter. If that means anything. I don't know.
Oh, watch out.
He has one of those like 7-on-7 things or recruiting things. I don't know.
Time out.
Hey,
Time out. Don't do
yeah,
it, dog. Don't do it. Nah, it's okay.
yeah. And then Garfield, Patrick Vargas, he's a good guy. He's definitely well respected, and the kids at Garfield, and the parents there, they definitely like him. It's a guy they like. Truthfully, it wasn't really a job search at all. I kind of always had the feeling, and there
Yeah.
was always a feeling that they were going to hire within. And there's nothing wrong with that. It was just kind of maybe having another outsider come to Garfield, a historic school. Um, yeah, it would have been something nice to see, but I still have faith in Patrick Vargas. He seems like a good guy. He doesn't seem to be on Twitter.
Okay.
I don't know a whole lot about him, but if the community, is down with it, then I'm down with it. And
Right. Right.
we'll see where Garfield goes as a program. They've been in the open kind of consistently, like throughout this decade.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope they could kind of just solidify themselves as a top team in the open because
Right.
they were 8 seed last year. Or yeah, last season I guess, even though
Yeah.
they were
Yeah.
like 4 weeks
It's all
ago.
good. Yep.
And then Birmingham blew them out a couple times. Banning had them a couple times, but all good. So yeah, I kind of want to go list by list on the teams. We could go Maywood first.
I have a question
Honestly,
real
I
quick.
had
Hold on. Before you go into the things, so the one thing you know for a fact is I have my ear to the street. Did you hear some of the freaking rumor? Did you hear the rumor about Ramos from Sure gonna be the head coach at Garfield?
no, really.
Bro. So just to give people like a kind of a insight to like what we do, like me and Jay, like we'll shoot the shit all day. Like we'll be on Twitter, like we follow feeds, but I had a story like fall in my lap where somebody tried telling me that the head coach from Sure High School stepped down and was then going to be the head coach at Garfield, and I was just like, nah, no way. Like
Sure.
I was like, that's not
Yeah.
even remotely close to what I've heard, bro. Like, dude, the rumors. Some of you guys are petty. You guys are petty. Stop it.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. But go ahead. Let's get into these
Yeah.
openings, man.
The sure part, last thing on Garfield, hopefully Vargas can keep more talent or keep the talent home because I know they kind of get poached by, Sacred Heart, sure, all these schools around the area. So we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
So for Maywood, honestly, I had to do like research on them because it's just one of those programs where you just don't know a whole lot about.
Hmm.
They had Caesar
Okay.
Trejo. He was their head coach. He's the one who resigned. He was at New Design Watts 2 seasons ago,
Okay.
and they finished 6-4 this year actually. But that's that 6-4 is pretty deceiving because they had beat um like the bottom barrel of teams, Torres, Belmont. So 6-4, but they didn't make the playoffs. That should
Yeah.
tell you something about their strength of schedule. And then, real quick, I'll run off the list. 2023 they went 1-9. 2022 they went 2-9. They lost in the first round of D3, and then 2021 they went 8-4, and they did make it to the quarterfinals of D2. But other than that, they just haven't. They only have 2 winning seasons in their history. Now they are a relatively new school. They've only had a football since 2018 or 2017. So that's a bit of a over exaggeration, but this is kind of just like another struggling program where it's not necessary. Where I get the feel that it's not necessarily about winning city titles. It's more about giving these kids an outlet and fielding a team every year.
They're actually an academic school. The very,
Yeah.
very high academic school. Um,
Okay. There we go.
yeah. So I know a couple kids that go there. Actually, our head coach at Southgate High School was one of those coaches that had a winning record.
Okay.
Um, I believe it was the 2021 season.
Okay.
Don't
They
quote
lost
me,
to
but
Fairfax, by the way.
no, then it is
Yeah.
that season. Yeah.
Okay.
So Coach Cisco Saldana was the head coach at Maces, and I've heard nothing but great things. Like, um, you have those inner city kids, but they go to that school basically for academics.
Okay. There we
So
go. I
yeah,
was gonna say it's usually one or the other, or sometimes the school is just academics and
right.
sports come second, which
They
is,
get they have athletes. They have athletes, and with the right. And I'm not saying this last coach was a bad coach, so please don't put words in my mouth. But
yeah.
when they have the coaching, the team has done well.
There we go.
Yeah,
All right. And then next up, Chatsworth, which is kind of a 50-50. So, what's up?
I said how you guys just won.
Um,
You
yeah,
guys just won CIF.
Chatsworth High is a 50-50, and it comes from their, I guess, interim head coach itself. So,
Okay.
long story short, Coach Marvin Street was the head coach for a number of years, a couple
Okay.
years. Going into week 2 this year, he had to step down, and Sean Johnson, who I guess is the interim head coach as of right
Hmm.
now, took over. And he was interviewed by the LA Times Daily News
Okay.
about the championship and everything. And he said, "quote This is comes from Haley Sawyer, by the way.
Okay.
In the article, it says Johnson said that he's not sure he will be the head coach next season, but he expects to be involved in the team in some capacity. So we're not really sure if he's gonna be. He doesn't even know. So I just wrote it down. Just yeah. Chatsworth is a they actually avenged their D2 final 2 years ago. It's a good program. A lot of neighborhood kids. Great program. Yeah, and they don't really have too many like down years. It mainly just depends on the freshmen that come in. They
Right.
don't recruit none of that. So and then we could talk about El Camino Real, which is the next team on my list. So
Yeah.
the head coach, Jason Sabolik, resigned about a few weeks ago, and from what I understand, it was more of a administration problem.
Okay. I was just about to ask. Did they say
Yeah.
why?
Um a lot of comments saying, it's hard to be a head coach when the administration doesn't respect you or whatnot. So that leads me on to my next point, which is El Camino Real High School in West Hills has been in turmoil for a bit.
Okay.
Um, Everything from their turf not working when they installed it like 2 3 years ago
Oh my
to
God.
dropping to a D2 when they're normally a D1 school. And
Right.
I wrote the records down. Look, this year they went 4-8. They started 0 and they El Camino started 0-4. There was a small point where a few people, including myself, I was like, are they gonna win more than 2 games this year? Because the West Valley is kind of tough, and I knew Dimely had a down year, so I was like, I
Yeah.
know they can beat them, but Taft, Granada, Chatsworth, these will be close games. Ultimately, they beat Taft, they beat Granada, so
They
they
were
went
number
four and
two
eight.
in D2, weren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
number 2 seed in D2 this year, and then they got blown out by Silmar like 44-10 in
Yeah.
the second round. And then 23 they went 5-6. 22 they went 5-6 as well. And then in 2021 they went 6-8, but they were the Division 2 champs. And then this kind of brings me to my last point.
Okay.
Ever since the turn of this decade,
Hmm.
Elko has been kind of on a slippery slope. 2020, no matter the record, I don't count since it's COVID and
Yeah.
they still fielded a team. They went 0-6, but I don't count that.
Okay.
And then the record has kind of been sliding down. 2021, 6-8, 5-6, 5-6, and then this year 4-8.
W-
This was a program rather that was this was prior to this year. This was the last team in the city to beat El Camino, to beat Birmingham. Sorry,
Okay.
before they went on their 48, 49 game win
Yeah.
streak. A lot of talent, and then yeah, it's a lot of administration problems. The talent leaves, they go to the Chaminades, the Sierra Canyons, those schools over there. So I hope whoever the next head coach is can really bring Elko back to what it was in the late 2010s.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying late 2010s, but yeah. So feels so
Yeah. Right.
feels like a couple months ago, but yeah. What are your kind of thoughts on El Camino?
I don't know really much about the program, right? Like I'm new to
Mhm.
the city.
Yeah,
But being part of the West Valley, like that, like we've had discussions that us, the Eastern League, and their league we're tied for the second hardest league,
yeah,
hands down. Marine
hmm
League's number one. Like nobody's gonna argue that. So we're tied for second. Um, and I I even think like if you're the third best team in that league, like what is going on? Like what is going on if you've had all that success prior till now? Like what
yeah,
happened? Like what was the shift? And if you're saying that it's administration, then bro, like Mountain View, I think it's was it Mountain View? I believe there's a high school. I think it was Mountain View from the southern section that they had no support from administration either. Like they'd hire a head coach and then the head coach was like, you know what? I don't want to be here. And he was gone.
yeah,
Um, so hopefully they get a coach, man. Like I don't like to see anybody really struggle. Like I don't like I know it sucks as a coach, but it sucks for the kids, man. Like it really
yeah.
does, and especially if you're known before this slump. Let's say a slump happened. Um, if you were known for being like that team,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I also meant to I forgot to mention it, another factor is their enrollment. They're down about 1,000 kids this year.
but why is that? Are they going to
Um,
like what school? Like what are the surrounding schools that they're
I'm
choosing to
really
go
not
to?
sure. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know. I just know that they're down pretty much 1,000 kids this year, which I mean that kind of just that's more of a systemic problem with kind of like LAUSD, bigger problems than that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like 1,000 kids,
Yeah.
like not 1,000 kids. Like I'm
Yeah,
sorry, not 1,000 people play sports. So if 1,000 kids chose not to go to your school, like
it's
is
it's
somebody look? Is administration being looked at?
I don't think so. I just think they're just doing a poor job, or maybe athletics is not something they're too interested in. I don't know.
Yeah,
But I will say this is gonna be the last point on El Camino. If 4-8 and being the number 2 seed, even though it was like an early exit, if that's their bottom, then they'll be okay. So I feel like there's always athletes that go there. Um they're just in a good area. If they could keep it and keep those kids from going to Heritage Christian, Sierra Canyon,
yeah,
Promenade, they'll be fine. But it all just starts with administration. So we'll see where it goes from there.
We're praying for you, El Camino.
Yeah,
And we joke. Like, I'm not being facetious in any way because, like I said, I don't like anybody. I don't like anybody sucking. Like, it sucks for the
yeah,
kids. Um, Hopefully they'll get it together. If it's administration, it'll work itself out. And if it was the coach is no longer there, and
yeah,
we got to change the guard.
yeah. All right, second to last team. We're gonna talk. Oh, third to last team because we're gonna save Narbonne, which
Oh
it's
yeah.
his whole monster for last.
Mm-hmm.
We got LA Marshall. Um, I think this is the program that's kind of struggled the most out of all the head coach openings.
Okay.
Their record the last 5 years is 15-38. They've
With the
made the
same head
play.
coach.
No, I don't think so. But I mean,
What?
yeah, they've.
Okay.
If you don't count 2023, which is 2 seasons ago, they haven't
Yeah.
made the playoffs since 2019. So in 5 years, they made the playoffs one time, and they
Oh.
lost first round by Fremont, like 40-0.
Oh.
So it's
I,
like, yeah,
damn.
yeah.
Ah
I
man.
just let's see. Yeah, I mean, his name was Andrew Patterson, the old head coach.
Okay.
They have a few, like they have an athletic trainer. I know a lot of some schools in the city don't have that. So there's some advantages to it, but it's just really a program that struggled like a
Right.
lot. Have really haven't been to playoffs in a while, losing seasons. I hope whoever comes in can really elevate, you know, Marshall to, you know, something
Grander
better
things. Yeah.
than what they're showing. You know, maybe they won't go back to when Andy Reid was there all those years ago, but
All right.
yeah, hopefully they can make a playoff run because playoff football is fun and it'll be a good memory for the kids. And hopefully, whoever the next coach is can tap into campus, get some kids on campus.
Who's in their league?
Their league is, I don't even know.
Here, I'll look it up real quick.
I think it's one of the lower ones that I ranked because I remember. I
Let's find
think
out.
Huntington. No,
Nah, they
is
so if
Marquez in it? No,
um
Wilson's in their league. Wilson, Eagle Rock. Who else?
okay.
Verdugo Hills.
Let's find out. They're in the Northern League, so that is Eagle Rock, Franklin, Lincoln, Wilson, and then Marshall.
Yeah. So
Ah, yikes.
Marshall is in the Northern League. Yeah, I just really hope the best because there's some teams where, man, you just got to get your numbers up. Gotta get, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like,
It's bigger than just winning championships. It's about like making bonds,
yeah,
getting kids out there, giving these kids an outlet. So yeah,
yeah.
uh, wishing the best for Marshall. And then we got kind of like an interesting one in my opinion. We got Banning. Head coach Raymond Grajeda resigned not too long ago. He was there for as the head coach like 5 years, but he was a long time coordinator there before that.
Okay.
Um, they were open division this year, Division
Hmm.
One last year.
They won it all last year.
They won Division One, LA City. They went all the way to state and they lost in the 5A final to Woodland Christian or Woodland Academy,
Okay.
23-13.
Okay.
And then yeah, they just kind of just been an open division team apart from the year they won Division One 2 seasons ago.
Did they say why he resigned?
No, he just said Banning will always be in my heart and wishing the best for the community essentially. And a few comments did mention the principal. I don't know who the principal is,
Okay.
but let's just say those comments weren't too fond of the principal. So I'm assuming it's a administration thing as well.
I was about to say because for people that are looking at my face, like, what is he so confused about? This is the coach that started the whole freaking protest against Norbonne. Like, it was his. Like, I'm not saying maybe they did it collectively, but he
Yeah,
was a voice, right?
yeah, for
So
sure.
somebody like that is a leader, and you want them being a leader amongst men. Like, I may not agree with what you did, but it takes balls.
Hmm.
It does. It takes balls, and sometimes being a leader is doing what nobody else wants to do. And the dude's a leader. He did it.
Yeah, he's a great guy too.
So it would have to be administrative because why would you quit? You just won a championship and you're on the brink. Like, you're on the brink of being that team.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm baffled. Like,
Yeah,
if a
whoever
principal
the yeah
Go
The
ahead.
principal, I don't know too much about it. I won't say anything, but
Yeah.
a lot of these things kind of seem these hirings rather seem more administration, but it is what it is. What can you do? Those are the people in place.
Yeah,
Sometimes
they
just
run the school,
yeah,
unfortunately. Well, yeah, it is what it
yeah.
is. I'm gonna keep that comment to myself.
Whoever Banning gets to be their head coach is gonna inherit a good squad. They have rising junior, so he's going to be a junior next year. Cody Galloway,
Okay.
he very good. His brother plays at San Diego State or some school like that.
Okay.
He's a Division One guy, very good. He has potential to be the best Galloway brother. There's three of them, so he's one
Okay.
of them. Very
Nice.
good. Yeah, kind of the problem with them this year, in my opinion, was yes, you have Steven Perez, who's
Yeah.
going to Wyoming City Player of the Year nominee. But you just need a quarterback. I felt like they needed a quarterback to give Steven the ball. You can't just be having him wildcat every play.
I don't
It's
know, bro. I don't know. Coaches
yeah,
will do that shit.
and it showed like they ended the season losing every game. They went 4-7, but they started out I think maybe like 4-2, 4-1, something like that. And then just they lost out in the league,
You just
and
get
then they lost
schemed
to
out.
Carson.
They scheme on you. That's it. Like
Yeah, you just
if
gang
that's
up
all
on
you
losing
got,
money.
like honestly, if that's all they had, and I'm not, it's not. When I make comments like this, I hope other coaches, don't take it personal. It's just my personal opinion, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Um, and that's kind of what this is for. It's just for us to give an opinion and talk about what we think about how our game and the way things are.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm pretty sure when this coach hears what I'm going to say, he's going to be like, "Well, you could have done this differently in your big game,"
Yeah.
and you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're right. But
Hey.
if that's all you have, um, I don't think you show that prior to going to league. I think you figure out something. Um, you try to put together the best football possible.
Hmm.
Um, and then you show your hand when you have to. Because
Yeah.
if they were gonna if they ran the Wildcat, all it takes is four or five games to figure out where you're really successful in the Wildcat, and then I'm
Yeah.
gonna stop it. And now you have to figure out how to do something else.
Exactly. Yeah, there's only so much Steven Perez could do. But I will say this last thing on Banning, they beat Palos Verdes, who won. What did they win? Like 5A state, 4A state, something like that,
Yeah.
early in the season. So I don't know. I just wanted to
Hey,
bring it up.
nah, that's cool.
Nothing to do with any of that.
Hey, no, they beat the team that won state. Good
Yeah.
for them.
So whoever is inheriting Banning is inheriting a good team. Hopefully, he could transcend them to the top of the city. And then the
Unless
last
everybody
opening,
leaves.
yeah. And then the last opening we have, which is we'll be talking about this for the next 5-10 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's
Narbonne High
gonna.
School in Harbor City, Malcolm Manuel resigned, I think last week actually. He cited that kind of all the drama and all the things off the field got to him, but he never gave like an exact reason. So I think okay, let's bring a little context. So, Narbonne High School in Harbor City, California, was a powerhouse in the 2010s in the state, not just the LA City section, in the
Right.
state.
In the state.
They get popped, which means they get caught using ineligible players at the end of the decade, so 2018, 2019. They're banned for the playoffs for 2 years. Their coaching staff leaves, the players leave. 2 years no playoffs. Malcolm Manuel comes in 2021, I believe. Yes. Oh, and fun fact, we when I was playing my senior year, we beat Narbonne in the semifinal. So that was his first year, Taft.
Nice.
So yeah,
Nice. Nice.
small
Nice.
little nugget there. But he
There you
takes
go.
over for 2021. They struggle, of course, because since all the talent has left and it's just
Right.
kids who go to the school, and then 2020, the summer going into this year, they get 24 football transfers. Not just like transfers in general for any sport. 24 football transfers. And I'm not just making that up. It's on the CIF website.
It
It's an
is.
official number.
Yes, it
They got
is.
24 transfers this summer. And then honestly the talk has started since last season when they got blown out by Birmingham in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
The talk started there about whoever their money man is, their booster, whatever, he's
Right.
coming back, and I guess some of those people were true. So the last little part of the drama of Narbonne. So they played their non-league schedule. You know, they play a good Southern League team, Los Alamitos, Cathedral. The Friday before league starts, so Marine League started that Friday. They were playing Banning High School that afternoon, like literally 3 hours before the game, like 3 4 hours before the game. And a document comes out that's basically states that the Marine League teams, which if you guys don't know, is Banning High School, Gardena High School, San Pedro High School, and Carson High School,
Right.
will all be deciding to forfeit against Narbonne and will not be playing any league games against them due to their belief that they think they're illegally recruiting.
Yep.
And then fast forward to November 10th, something like that, the day of their open division
Playoff
first
game.
round playoff game against Dorsey High School. Narbonne found out literally, this was like even 2 hours before the game. 2 hours before the game, that 7 players were found ineligible. So all those players will not be playing in the playoffs, and every single game that they played, they will have to forfeit. And
Yep.
there is a small misconception that around just a few people that they think Narbonne went into the playoffs 0-10 or whatever. They actually
Yeah.
went in 4-6 because they have to forfeit their first 6 games that the 7 ineligible players were in.
Mm-hmm.
But the games that the Marine League teams forfeited against Narbonne, nobody played. So
Yeah.
there's
So
no
they
one to
still
be
win.
eligible. So
Yeah.
they still get that win. So they went into the playoffs 4-6. They win. They pretty much dominate everybody except Birmingham. They
Right.
scored 70+ points in the city section open division final, and then they lose to Pacifica in the regional bowl game. So
Right.
that's a little bit, even though it's a lot. That's the context behind Narbonne as a program and what their whoever the head coach is. I have no clue who their head coach is. I have zero sources. I don't even know if somebody wants that job.
I was
I don't
just
know.
about to say, who's gonna
Yeah.
touch that?
Look, Narbonne, look, they need to keep their noses clean. I'm just say it was cool to see, players that won't really play in the city for a year.
Right.
But I just have a feeling that everybody kind of knew, because you just don't get, unless you're Mater Dei or Bosco, you don't get 24 transfers in one sport. I don't really care who you are unless you're a Trinity League team. So
You don't get 24 transfers into a school, period, for
yeah,
anything.
yeah,
Like, like when we talked yesterday, I told you I was gonna be very like vague in certain statements. I hate to say it like this. Like, you guys didn't think that there was gonna be any fucking red flags raised when you had 24 kids transfer in?
yeah.
Like, look,
It's
that's the only way I can ask it, man.
yeah. They're trying to be run like a Southern Section team in the city, and that just won't work because you'll get busted. That's just how the city works. It's like
But if they did it, look, there's ways to do it. Like, okay, I'm not even mad at the fact that they brought in 24 kids. Good for them. Like, if you got
yeah,
24 kids into your school, cool. But the way, like, if you read the Sports Illustrated thing, like fake documentation, like, look, for people that are gonna look at me and be like, Coach Paul, that's absurd. It fucking happens everywhere, man.
that's normal.
It
It's
does.
normal.
It
Let's be
happens
real. It's normal.
everywhere. But 24 kids and none of them had to sit out though. Like you don't think like if you're bringing in more than 5 kids, I'm sorry, you should do SOPs.
Yeah,
And that should be your conversation at the beginning of the season. Like, look, we're expecting a lot of transfers. We're expecting like our numbers to increase. There's a high possibility you may have to sit out 5 games, even if
yeah,
it's going to cost you the kid. But nobody's going to want to do that because, oh, I don't want, honestly, fuck preseason. Sit the kids.
yeah.
Unless they're seniors. If you have seniors coming in, I'm sorry, seniors. Like, if you're trying to move and you're trying to go to schools, you're gonna have to move.
Hmm.
Like, you have to move. If you're not moving, you're gonna sit 5. There's
Yeah,
ways to do things, and I'm not mad that they did 24. Like, good for them, they were able to, but obviously they didn't do it the right way.
yeah.
And it fucking sucks for the kids too, because now you have kids that are banned from California that can't play.
There's a
Um,
few. Yeah.
yeah,
I
and also what? Win a high school title. Like
yeah,
I'm all for, like, I coach, so I want to win. But 24 fucking kids, bro. Like,
Yeah, whoever their money man is, they should have toned it down a little bit, you know.
and so some people are going to be like, it's all speculation. It is. It's speculation. Like, there's shit that drops in our inboxes. There's conversations we've had with people. So,
Hmm.
was I there? No. Was Jay there? No. But, when the sentiment is the same and it's loud as it's being like put out,
Hmm.
then that's why we can, like, that's how come we base our opinion the way we base it.
Yeah.
So stay out my inbox with well, how do you know? I don't. It's an assumption. Me and Jay don't want to hear it. It's just our
Yeah.
opinions. I thought I'd throw
So
that out there.
yeah, and the last thing the second to last thing I would say,
Yeah.
there was a lot of people on Twitter, a few attacking the kids. They should never attack the kids.
Never.
Always the parents and the administration and the coaching. Don't these kids? I don't care what they said. They don't get the blame. It's the
No.
parents, administration, coaches.
And I'd agree with so to the parents, I would say it's not necessary. Some of it could be parents, right? It could be the parents' fault. But it's the coaches and the administration. Like, they should have been truthful with these parents.
Yeah.
And if the parents made the decision not being told all the information, then it's not their fault. But if they knew everything that was going on and they allowed it and they were on board, which most parents probably are,
Hmm.
yeah, you got to take the blame too.
Yeah, and it's one of the things I still don't understand is they were on a path. They were so Malcolm Manuel gets hired. Okay, D3, they get eliminated by yours truly.
Yeah.
Next year they go D1. The year after that, they're in the open division. Of course, they get blown out by Birmingham, but still, like you have homegrown players that are good enough. Like Mark Hinachor, he is a 4-star top 40 player in California. He's homegrown. He spent all 4 years at Narbonne. He's going to SMU. They
Mm-hmm.
have a few more. Ernest Lundley, number 10, Osei. I don't want to mispronounce the last name, but I know it's
Right.
Osei, his first
Yep.
name. Those two have a couple offers between them. So there's talent there. I just don't understand, why you had to bring in so many when you guys were on the right path. I mean, their quarterback last year, Deshaun Laporte, who's at Burbank High School right now,
Right.
that kid had like 8 offers while he was at Narbonne as a freshman. And then they go out and bring in Jaden O'Neal. So you could have just kept the pieces that you had already.
Right. Hey, no
Yeah.
knock on Jaden O'Neal. That kid's a
And he's the
motherfucker.
real deal. Yeah.
He's the truth.
Real deal.
Um.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exodus, you think it's happening?
Oh, I think so. Absolutely. Absolutely. You nowadays look. So this includes my kids. Like, this includes kids that I talk to now. Like, no kid wants to go to a school that you can only play 10 games, guys, and no matter how well you do,
Hmm.
you're not going to the playoffs. And we
Yeah,
don't know how long our ban is for.
exactly.
How are you going to sell that to kids? You're not going to at all.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
So Exodus is happening. I believe it'll happen. I don't think Jaden O'Neal is going to transfer because the rumor was that he was going to
Hmm.
reclassify, leave, and hit Norman early. And honestly, Jaden, that would be the best bet if you have Oklahoma and your future in mind. There's no need to transfer and sit
Hmm.
out 5, and if you don't have to, right?
Yeah.
But now everybody that leaves that program, if you get a Norbon kid, they're sitting out 5,
Yeah. I have a feeling,
even if they
because
move.
I have a feeling a bunch of them will transfer to the same school because I will say this, they did seem very tight knit. Like the skill
Okay.
guys, they seem
Yeah.
like real close friends
Okay.
outside of school. So whoever, and of course, obviously, I don't know where they're gonna transfer, but
Right. Right.
if
Right.
they do transfer to a one school, a lot of their skill
Mm-hmm.
guys, that school is gonna get a lot of skill, very good players.
And
Those
that
kids are
school's going to
great.
have there's going to have a bunch of kids that have to sit,
Yeah,
even if they move.
you
Yeah.
just gotta make sure when they do, if they transfer, because
Yeah.
we don't know anything officially.
Right.
If they do transfer, you gotta make sure you get all the paperwork. Um,
Please. Please,
real
please, please.
real
Make
quick,
sure.
real quick.
Yes, sir.
There was 24. I'm just gonna say, let's say maybe 16 are underclassmen, right? 16, 18. This is just a number. I'm not sure.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
think all 16, 18 would transfer?
So this is my thing. Like this is my question because I know all 24 weren't on the varsity team, right? It was just the 7 kids that were highlighted in the thing.
Hmm.
What what was told or what was promised to these kids that made them come to the school? Because it's in hopes of winning a championship, developing you as a football player, developing you as a young man, and getting you to the next level.
Hmm.
Well, you can't participate for a championship anymore. The coaching staff that was going to develop you and turn you into the young man that you wanted to become is now gone.
Yep.
Um, yeah. What do you really have to keep you there, in a sense? Especially if you guys all came for, if they, like you said, they all came specifically for football.
Yeah.
Um, it sucks, man. And it sucks for the underclassmen, and it sucks for anybody that really wants to play football that is going to go to that school for the next couple years.
Yeah. Um. I, honestly, if they get one kid who transferred in to stay, they'll be lucky. We had talked about. Bless you. There we go. It's the last one. Bless you. We had
Thank
talked
you.
about their backup quarterback Kingston Stokely, who's a freshman right now, so he'll be a sophomore. If they could get some of these pieces who maybe were on JV that were really good, maybe
Yeah,
Kingston Stokely could stay.
I
Maybe Ernest Nunley he'll stay because he's been there for 3 years. I don't
right.
know, but whoever the next Narbonne head coach is, I really hope he manages to keep the program straight and just
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I
Let's
got to
let
meet
the kids
Kingston,
deserve.
right? I've gotten to meet Kingston recently. And the young man, every time I see him, is rocking his Norbon stuff.
There you go.
I haven't asked him. I don't feel
Yeah.
like I should.
Hmm.
And like in the space that I meet him, I'm like he's not there for that. And I'm not there for that either. Like
Yeah.
when we run into each other, it's like, "What's up, young man? Let's get some work today,"
There you
and that's it. So I, it's a good sign that he's still wearing all his Bond stuff, but
go.
um,
Yeah.
if he's gonna stay, time will tell.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
That'll kind of wrap it up because we could segue into so many different things on the Narbonne, but
Right
let's just hope they stay clean and start brand new.
now,
And the
speaking of these Norbon kids, they haven't released the All City yet, right?
yep.
So we have the females. So go ahead and let's get into that, bro.
Yeah. So as you guys know, the CIF city section also does girls flag football. They recently expanded to three divisions actually. They were two divisions 2 seasons ago. So we just kind of want to highlight some of the player of the years in each division. So we'll start off Division 2. We want to shout out Talia Haim. I'm really sorry if I pronounce it wrong. QB from El Camino Real, 10th grader. Division 1, Faith Ujoje. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong too.
Faith, you, we got you.
Yeah, Faith U, we got you. Faith U, running back out of Narvon, actually, ninth grader, so she has 3 more years. And
Yeah,
then in the
yep.
open division, we have Alina A. Let's just keep it at that. Alina A, who's a senior at Banning, who's a QB. So, we want to give a shout out to the girls. I noticed that it's a growing sport, and
Yeah.
they might have 4 divisions next year. So we'll see. And
Hopefully.
yeah, shout out to those young ladies.
Yeah, shout out to the female athletes in the city. Um, I know when Jay jumped on board, I kind of gave him my vision. So when we get athletes, we're gonna be doing. And if you've caught the show prior, we're gonna do female athletes in all sports. So shout out to the first round of females getting their accolades.
Shout out, yes. Congratulations to all the teams that won too.
Yes, yes, yes. Congratulations. I failed you females. I didn't look up your records and put you guys and give you your guys' your shine. That's on me. Um but let's give a shout out to also all the coaches. The CIF also announced Coach of the Year for women's flag football. Division 2, we have Rick Hayashida from El Camino Real
Mhm.
Alco. If I pronounce your last name, I'm the person that slaughters all names. I apologize. Division One, we have Cheryl Holmes from Norbonne, and then Open Division is Eli Apol Sala from Banning. So shout out, congratulations to all you coaches that received Coach of the Year.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in action on Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before we get to the LA City Bowl, we're going to
Right.
talk about kind of who we think is going to be the MVP for each division. For the boys football, of course. So we'll go
Right.
open, D1, D2, D3. I'll
All
do
right.
open,
Yep.
D2 and D3, and then Coach Paul's going to do D1.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
start at D3. For my MVP, I chose Arturo Arguello. I hope I say that right. Right?
Okay.
He is a linebacker at LA High, senior, and mainly just because of his numbers, man. Like, sure, it's D3. You can say whatever you want about that, but man, he had like 150 tackles. And no matter what level you're at, that's impressive. And he has good size. So, of course, maybe he's not a D1 guy, but not everybody is. So he'll be good at whatever local school he could go
Right.
to. He has good size. He's like 6'2", a lot of frame, a lot of muscle on him. So he's
Yeah.
my pick for the MVP of the Division 3.
Okay.
Honorable mention to Andrew Williams of Fremont. I'm pretty high on this guy.
Okay.
Don't be fooled by Fremont. Maybe not a typical football powerhouse in the city, but man, this guy is like a gem waiting to be discovered. He's 6'5", 230, kind of like a Steven Perez that we mentioned earlier, does
Yeah.
everything, but just for Fremont. He has 2 offers already, and I had tweeted about earlier, if he could get to one of these camps, like a rivals camp or something like that, like
Right.
he would I don't want to say he's gonna be like a high major 4-star or whatever, but he could definitely get on the radars of schools that are not scouting him. He could be a good example, I will say, is Chinedu Onyegoro, who currently is a senior for King Drew High School. He's a 4-star going to SMU as well. He never played basketball.
Wait, he's
Oh,
going to
sorry.
SMU?
Yeah, he's going to SMU as well. Like
Oh,
Mark Hinator of Narmont.
shit.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yeah, he
Like
committed
it.
a while ago, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Let's go. That's tight.
But I say his name because he never touched the football prior to his sophomore year. He plays football his sophomore year. Now, granted, his numbers are a lot better than Andrews were this year. I'll give Chinadu that for sure.
Yeah.
But then he goes to a rivals camp and he explodes. And Greg Biggins, all these scouters are like, "Whoa, who's this kid?" And you can
Mm-hmm.
even read it on his profile. If you search up Chinadu Onyegoro 24/7 Sports, read his bio. Biggins literally writes like, "Oh, this kid, he has great size. Has only played for 1 year. Super explosive, great athleticism."
Yep.
So I don't know if it's invite only or if you got to pay a lot of money for those camps. But like, man, if I'm his head coach for Andrew Williams, like I gotta realize like, yo, this kid, he could really make it out. If maybe he doesn't have the money for it, I could
Right.
show some money out because like he has the size, the frame, the athleticism to be a good D1 player out of
Okay.
Fremont. So I kind of rambled on, but that's
Now you're good.
D3.
All right.
I'll do D2. For my MVP, this one was kind of tough. I knew I wanted to do teams that made the final. So obviously
Right.
your Southgate and then the Chatsworth. I was kind of debating between their quarterback and Nicholas Fonseca for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ultimately ended up going with Fonseca.
Yeah.
Maybe because you guys are the friend of the show, Southgate, but I don't know. This Fonseca kid is so good, and he's only a sophomore.
Bro,
And
if he
yeah,
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll get my
and
take on
like
the kid after.
so, if you guys don't know, I went to the Southgate Chatsworth. I was there all day. I saw all the games, and I'm looking at what number is he again? Number 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, is that really the Fonseca kid? He seems pretty small. I see him play. This kid is shifty. No one can tackle him. Does everything. He can hit too, and I'm just like, wow. And then it backed up the tape because obviously I watched tape on a bunch of guys
Right.
because I can't go to every game. So
Right.
I
Right. Right.
watched tape. I watched tape on Francisco Meza too, who's
Yep.
great. You guys as wide receivers. So I'm gonna go with your Swiss Army knife, Nicholas Fonseca.
Nice.
Um, yeah, great kid.
Hell of a kid.
Sky's the limit for you guys.
He's
Yeah.
gonna be on the show. He's
There we
already
go.
he's already told me, he was like, as soon as you guys get back on, I'm on, coach. And I was like,
There we
you
go.
already know. Mesa too, and
Yeah.
Gonzalez, Mike, our quarterback, all three have said they're down. They're
Yeah.
down. So
There
we
we
got
go.
the three musketeers. Eric Myers, our running back. I'm gonna
Mhm.
make him sweat it out. I'm gonna get him on later. We're gonna get some people in before
All
him,
right,
and
let's
then throw
go.
him on. He made me wait this season to get on the field. I'm gonna make him wait to get on the interview.
Yeah, okay. Give him the
No,
treatment.
but
Yeah.
Nick, man, Nick, that kid is something special, dude. For the viewers and the listeners, Nicholas Fonseca came in number 4 in the city, and he only played receiver for 5 games, 4 games, 4 games. Yeah,
Mhm.
4 games, 5 games. No, 5 games. Because Mike was out. He was our quarterback the first 5 games. And we went 4-1.
He's great. You guys,
Baller.
um,
I don't
Southgate as a
disagree.
whole, Southgate as a whole is in a very great position. Just honestly, even if I have no clue who you were or any of the coaches were, just looking at it, unbiased,
Right.
you guys have a lot of young guys that are very talented, and you guys will be good. And maybe I don't know how good you guys will be, but I'm hoping you guys could be in the D1 Open Division, perhaps. I don't know.
Hey,
We'll
I
see. We'll
appreciate
see.
that. Hey, that's the goal, man. Excuse excuse me. That's the goal. Like, we have all sophomores. Well, our key players are sophomores, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
We're losing 16 seniors. So it shall be fun to make another run, and the goal is to progress to one before I leave. Like the goal is before, because my son is going to be a freshman there, and
Okay.
at next year.
Okay.
So the goal is before he graduates, hopefully we get an open
There we
title,
go. Playing with the
or
big
we make
boys.
open, even if we don't win a title. We make it. We make it to open, and that would say a lot about us as a coaching staff and our kids,
Exactly.
and how resilient they are.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, we were close. We almost had a ring this year. We fucked up as coaches, and that's where I'm going to leave that. It was no one's fault, but that's it. We fucked up as coaches, and we didn't finish. And we didn't make sure our kids finished, and that's it. So going into next season, we'll make sure that doesn't happen again. And so if we're in the position to make a run at one,
Hmm.
that's the goal. That's the goal.
There we go. All right. There we go.
So Division 1, man, I got to give it to Jameer Torres.
Easy choice.
That was the kid, like that young man, 1,100 yards on the season, bro. Um, I he was a standout in the championship game.
Hmm.
Uh, he's number 1 in all categories in one. So that was hands down the easiest pick I had to make, man. Like there wasn't even. I was looking at a couple other people, right, and I was just like, well, I don't want to be biased, but the kid's a stud, and
He's
he
so good.
separated himself. 89 carries, 1,100 yards. He had 300 yards in a playoff game. Like insane,
Yeah. This guy's crazy
insane.
good.
Yeah,
He should
hands
have
down.
way more Division One offers than he has right now. Way more.
Way more. But you know what? I think it's because he's not like he's not the bulkiest guy that either.
Yeah.
Like he hit is a dude. He's a dog.
Yeah.
So hopefully he gets the recognition and they're able to see him.
Hmm.
I think he's playing. He should be playing in the All City Bowl.
Yeah. He's on the South roster. He's
Yeah,
named. We'll see if he
yeah,
if he's
exactly,
there.
right.
Yeah.
Um, but I know for a lot of these kids, this is another opportunity now to get more tape against the top competition. So he'll probably play. Um,
Yeah. He should. Yeah.
hopefully this young man ends up at a good whatever program lands him is landing a
Yeah.
straight
He
dog.
only has, I think, like 3 offers right now. He should have a lot more though. And honestly, had he not had to had to do a sit out period, he
Yeah.
would have been the runaway for City Player of the Year.
Oh yeah, easy, easy,
Easy. Yeah.
easy. Yeah.
Yeah. All
Coach
right.
Torres,
That's
congratulations on your run. Congratulations to your son,
Yep.
because
Sorry about that.
that kid's a dog.
He is. Congratulations to King Drew. smallest nugget right here, King Drew. We'll probably talk about this in a later episode. King Drew is also a lot of potential in that program. Just
Very.
everything from their 3 years existing, they already have a city title. From where they are located, just the athletes that are in that area. I'll leave it at that. A lot of
Yep.
potential for that program. And then I'll do the open division. And honestly, this one it wasn't as easy as Jameer Torres, but it was pretty easy. Jaden O'Neal for me was the MVP.
Hands down.
Yeah, quarterback Narbonne, 4-star, top 30 player in the state for his class. Going to Oklahoma, maybe reclassing. Yeah, it was it was a pleasure to see a high major Division 1 quarterback play at a city section school. Regardless of how he got there, if we're just focusing on the actual play,
Exactly.
it was a pleasure to see a high major Division 1 quarterback and just to see his mechanics, everything.
You know what I was sad is that Kingston Tisdale went to Inglewood, and we could not.
Yes,
I wanted to see when I heard Jaden O'Neal was going to Narbonne. I was like, oh my god, Jaden O'Neal and Kingston Tisdale is going to be a fucking
yes.
shootout.
You know
Kingston Tisdale goes
yeah,
to Inglewood. I was like, what?
that brings up a good point. I had tweeted a while ago before the season started that this was the best year of quarterback play in the city in a couple years, and that was with Tisdale transferring now. And then I was like, man, imagine if this Birmingham had Tisdale instead of Kevin Hawkins. Kevin Hawkins is good, but I'm gonna
Yeah,
be honest, he's more of an athlete.
yeah.
He he's huge, athletic, but Kingston Tisdale just can spin it. And
Yeah,
seeing a Tisdale O'Neal matchup in the city,
that would have
that
been
would have been
fire.
amazing.
That would have been dope. I would have
Yeah.
like honestly like because they would have seen each other again in the playoffs.
Mhm.
I would have been at that like fuck, we made it all the way. Like I would
Yeah,
have
yeah,
I would have had to record that shit and like watched it. Like
yeah,
I would have requested the film on Huddle. Like, hey, can I watch your game? I missed it.
yeah. That would have been. Ooh. That game was already the city game of the year. But imagine, Tisdale, and also what a lot of people don't talk about is Birmingham had Ronald Hewitt transfer out. He went to Westlake and then he went to Chaminade. But
Okay,
that
yeah.
kid bruiser run everybody over as a sophomore. He's now a junior, but
Yeah.
he picked up his first offer not too long ago. But
Okay.
yeah, my MVP Jaden O'Neal. Like I said, it was a pleasure. He has the mechanics. He had great receivers. Um, I will say he's not as mobile as I thought he would be, but that's not a knock at all. He's still crazy athletic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it wasn't too hard of a choice for me either for open
Yeah.
division.
Now, let's get into the last game. Well, it's not the last game of the season because we still got like the 605 game and like other games, but
The last game I care about, to be
yeah,
honest.
exactly, right? Like
Yeah,
this is the last game of the season.
officially, yeah, for sure.
Officially. We got the All City All-Star game on Friday.
Yeah,
Are
also,
you going?
I think it's called the Gridiron Classic.
Yeah, it's called the Gridiron
I
Classic. It's
just
held
call
by
it
the
the All
Chargers.
City Bowl.
Yeah, I call it the All City Bowl too. Then, sorry,
Yeah.
you going?
Yeah, so for the All City Bowl, we have North and South. So the North is coached by Juan Solorio, and then the South is coached by Joe Torres, King Drew's
Coach of
coach. When he
Fairfax,
started.
and then the coach of King Drew.
Yeah,
Yep.
Solorio's at Fairfax. So some of the names I highlighted for the North: Drayden Fowles, Eddie Plaza, both at Birmingham. Omar Mohammed, the running back at North Hollywood, who went crazy this year. Jake Tribach, linebacker at Palisades. Arturo Arguello, the linebacker I talked about for the MVP at Division 3.
Mm-hmm.
Eduardo Cuevas, who is the quarterback at Franklin. He's a
That
good
kid is
kid.
a dog.
Good kid. Good. He's like 6'3", 6'4". Could
I
spin
seen him
it.
in person at the because I went to the meeting.
Okay.
Tall as shit.
Yeah, yeah. He's a good guy. Yeah. And then on the South, honestly, I just named their Division 1 guys, and because they have a couple. So Chinadu Onyegoro and Jameer Torres both at King Drew. Marky Hinator from Narbonne. Steve Perez from Banning. Charlie Taufa, who was the edge rusher at Narbonne. And then Frankie Rivera, who's probably the biggest lineman in the city, probably in the South Bay. He's like 6'3" something. He's at San Pedro. He has one offer of a Division 1, but he'll play at a high D2 or low D1, doesn't matter.
Okay.
So if we kind of just look at names, the South does run away with it, but Coaching matters, and we also have to see how the kids how they'll play it. Are they going
Yeah.
to take it serious? How much are they going to play? How much is Jameer Torres going to play? Maybe a
So I
few.
believe it's 2 quarters each.
Mhm.
Or depending on like how, I'm pretty sure they have a strong rotation or lineup. Like I
Yeah.
haven't like the rosters, I didn't critique them or like, oh, there's 4 running backs. But from what I hear, each kid will play like 2 quarters, maybe more.
Okay.
But like they're gonna get to. They only got 4 days. The game, like they started practice today. No, they started practice today.
Yeah. Monday. Yeah.
So you got 4 days. It's gonna be a freaking shootout, bro.
Yeah.
We're
And
gonna see
I
some.
forgot to mention Charlie Taufa. I hope I'm saying
Oh,
this last name right. From the South. He's committed to Northern Arizona University. So I forgot to say that. And then
nice.
one thing I also say, I hope the uniforms are different this year because last year, honestly,
Were they boo boo?
they looked like practice jerseys. Yeah,
Okay, so I have to say this, like unless it's funded, like unless it's
yeah, the
truly
funding.
fully funded,
It's
you're
not.
gonna get practice jerseys because uniforms are kind of expensive.
Yeah, it's just practice jerseys. I hope they change the pants because I forgot which side, but one side had yellow pants and it looked. Ugh. And then
Oh,
of course, they had their own helmet from whatever
right.
team they're at, but
Yeah.
maybe get like black pants or something. I don't know. I will say that I'm critiquing them on that. The yellow pants are not
Oh
it. So
shit.
whichever
That's
side that was, yeah,
funny. That's
yeah,
funny. Oh man. Hey, it is what it is.
yeah. And then both of us are going to be at
Yes.
it's at El Camino College, right?
Alco College, yeah.
Yeah, we'll be at Elko College on Friday to watch that game. Yeah, it should be a fun game. What are your
Should
expectations for it?
honestly, I just want to see a good show. I got 2 kids in it. I got Samuel Rodriguez and Alex Ayala that
Oh,
are
I
in the
remember him.
game.
D tackle,
Yeah.
yeah.
So not too many expectations, man. I just hope these kids take advantage of their opportunity that they have on Friday. They highlight their skills. They take advantage of this opportunity they got. I know it's gonna be it's a lifetime experience, man. Like
Hmm.
you never forget people you played an all-star game with. And if you keep your helmet, that's the last game you ever played and it's got everybody's decals on it, bro. Like that's pretty sweet. Like
Yeah,
that's a cool thing. That's a cool little heirloom to have in your family and talk to your kids about. So hope they're able to experience it and they cherish the moment that they have. And let's hopefully it's a good game, dude. Like that's it.
yeah. You took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah,
Hope it's a good game. Hopefully no injuries, and hope the kids enjoy themselves. Yeah.
perfect. Well, that concludes our first episode together, my man.
There we go. It's a
Well,
great
we'd like
time.
to thank all the listeners, all the viewers. You can follow us both on Twitter. I am the SG_DC. And my man Jay, go ahead, drop your handle, brother.
I am LA section junkie. Thank
There you go. And this is On the Map, the On the Map podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in.
you
Peace.
guys.